Well, our final speaker is actually someone you've heard from today, but he has a presentation to share as well. Ryan Bomberger is the Chief Creative Officer of the Radiance Foundation, a nonprofit organization that addresses a myriad of social issues in the top context of God-given purpose. The Radiance Foundation was the first to launch a public ad campaign, TooManyAborted.com, which you had opportunity to see a glimpse of earlier. To expose the disproportionate impact of abortion in the Black community and the racism of Planned Parenthood's past and present. As an adoptee, adoptive father, and Emmy Award-winning creative professional, Ryan has spoken to hundreds of thousands across the country about the beauty of possibility. Mr. Bomberger will speak to us today on abortion's war on the possibility and beauty of adoption. Thank you, Ryan.
It's just a hunch, but I'm assuming that most people in here are pretty passionate about this issue. I've been wiping tears. It's just astounding. So many people from different professions and those with deeply personal testimonies, which are so powerful. It's been an honor just to be part of this day with all of you. Let's get going. This is the last few minutes, but this is something I'm really passionate about. So, let me talk a little bit about adoption, abortion's war on possibility and the beauty of adoption. That's my little boy, actually, right there. His name is Justice. So, throughout human history, life has been rescued, elevated, and celebrated by acts of inexplicable courage and compassion. It is this continuing cycle of our humanity that extols others above ourselves. This is what defines the pro-life movement. It is rooted in the foundational belief that human dignity isn't just for the privileged and the planned, but it's for all. Abortion denies us the heroic nature of our humanity. It deprives us not only of the beautiful possibility of a unique new life, but of the opportunity for women and men to be powerfully transformed. Now, we all know that there are only two life-affirming alternatives to abortion. There's parenting, and then there's adoption. When the birth parents can't provide a home for the child, I would say that adoption is a pretty beautiful option. And of course I am biased, and you'll figure out why I'm so biased. But this is pretty much what sums up, when I think of adoption, what it does. It unleashes purpose. Of course, those who espouse to be Christians know that there is no salvation without adoption. So there's a lot of powerful meaning behind adoption. But I know that adoption unleashes purpose because I was once labeled unwanted. I was adopted into a multiracial, as you can see here, multiracial family. This is the crew, 6 brothers, 6 sisters, Black, white, Native American, Vietnamese, just kind of a beautiful menagerie. It looks like America. So, of course, it sounded like chaos in our house, but that's okay. I had 2 parents who were instrumental in unleashing that purpose. 9 of my siblings were also adopted. They had 3 homemade, and then they imported all the rest of us. And we represent the tangible example of possibility realized. And today, I am the father of 4, 3 of which who were unplanned, 2 of which are adopted. And yet, despite all that, every single one of them is loved like crazy. So this fall, my wife, Bethany, and I, we both founded the Radiance Foundation back in 2009, just a short while ago. And we created a moving new adoption TV campaign working with Real Options Pregnancy Medical Clinics, which are located out in California, and with Bethany Christian Services, the world's largest adoption organization. We wanted to create ads that captured the essence of adoption. And so I came up with this tagline, "Turn the unplanned into a loving plan." And so this is the slogan for our new initiative. There are 3 ads, and the ads honor birth parents, and they allow them to see beyond the moment, because a lot of times when you're in this, you can't see beyond, the next second, let alone the next day or 10 years down the road. And we wanted them to be able to see beyond the moment into the lives of adoptees like myself, who reassure them that we have been adopted and loved. It reaches out to expectant mothers and shares an option so few are ever made aware of, especially if they enter a Planned Parenthood clinic, let alone shown the beauty and impact of such a decision. I want you to meet, hopefully this will play okay, but I want you to meet one of the adoptees that we captured in this campaign. His name is Johnny Moses. What a great kid. And just shows you how turning the unplanned into a loving plan has such a far-reaching impact. This is Johnny Moses' story.
I was adopted when I was 3 days old. My family loves me a lot. I love them just as much as they love me, both my adoptive family and my birth family. My birth mom was 16 and pregnant. I can't even imagine how hard it was for her. But she chose life and made me possible. Turn the unplanned into a loving plan.
Can I lose one there? I'm not sure if I can get the next sentence out, actually. It's hard to see this and know when you grow up in this reality and when you're living this reality and you see the lives and you're interacting with the lives and you're hugging those lives that can be stolen from you because of this warped mentality that an unwanted child is going to be unloved. So what we want to do through the Radiance Foundation, what we all try to do here, is to foster an environment where people pursue adoption more and the public is educated about the beautiful stories that typify the adoption experience. It's about love, hope, and sacrifice. The abortion industry, on the other hand, celebrates the sacrifice of others. It is mired in the most extreme form of narcissism that evangelizes others to save oneself while allowing others to perish. It leads groups like Planned Parenthood-funded pro-abortion group Sister Song to make bizarre claims like abortion makes women better mothers. Tragically, far less women today make an adoption plan today than before Roe. The stigma of single parenting has nearly vanished, with nearly 41% of all children born in the United States born into homes without fathers, born to unmarried women. Abortion has also eliminated more than 54 million brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, doctors, lawyers, teachers, sons, and daughters since the war on possibility began. Prior to Roe, from 1952 to 1972, nearly 8.7% of all premarital births resulted in adoption. Now, granted, I'm not an advocate of some of the forced adoptions that happened at that time, but today it's a whole different thing. And unfortunately, there's a whole different stat for today. In fact, this number is probably not even close because there are no federal stats. Just like there's no federal mandate to report abortions, there's no federal mandate to report adoptions. This number is probably closer than less than 1% of women place their newborn child for adoption. And statistically, it's almost near zero among the black demographic. So here we have a whole different situation where birth parents, unlike pre-70s, pre-60s, where birth parents are in control, they have the option of open adoption, they have the option of closed adoption, or semi-open adoption. We're in a situation where we have a semi-open adoption with our youngest son's birth mom. So here we are with this horrible statistic, less than 2%, less than 1%. In this pro-life battle to save the lives of both women and men, we often lose sight, though, that parenting isn't always the best option. Of course, abortion isn't the choice, but parenting is also not the best option. This is why. Children who grow up in single-parent-led homes are 5 times more likely to grow up in poverty. So not only does adoption unleash purpose, it actually helps to fight poverty as well, putting children into stable homes with a mother and a father. So, and that I realize too that it's not always a mother and father. There are plenty of single people who also adopt too, and I praise them for coming forward too. But we have a situation where if we want the best environment for a child, sometimes encouraging adoption is the better alternative for that birth parent or birth parents. Contrary to all evidence available, Planned Parenthood and its abortion allies claim that abortion is a woman's uplift out of poverty. And as I said before, women ages 1864 are more impoverished today at 15.5% than they were in 73, which it hit its low point, its lowest point that the U.S. Census Bureau even recorded, which was 10%. So now, I don't know what I just dropped, but have you heard of Planned Parenthood's, have you seen Planned Parenthood's new logo? Mm-hmm. New logo, yes, and they have a new slogan. It's scare no matter what. Planned Parenthood's founder, Margaret Sanger, who they unapologetically celebrate today, wrote often about motherhood being bondage. Well, poverty is bondage. Not having, they want to say just bringing forth life is bondage, but we want to say that bringing forth life is a gift. It's not bondage at all. Sanger was a member of the racist and elitist American Eugenics Society and claimed that children are, quote, marked when they're born as diseased delinquents and felons. And this was in an interview, a 1957 interview with Mike Wallace. These vile words served as the bedrock to her birth control movement and remain the foundational underpinning to the pro-choice movement. Some things never change. It's not an archaic philosophy. She died the year before Martin Luther King Jr., and we don't consider his ideology archaic. Sanger's colleague and fellow eugenicist Henry Goddard condemned adoption as a crime against the family because you don't know that child's heredity. You don't know what they're going to become. Well, I don't know. You don't know what you're going to become. You don't know what you're going to become. None of us know. And if you do, well, you could bank on that. Make a lot of money. This eugenic mindset, however, isn't the stuff of last century. It's tragically alive and well today. Planned Parenthood vehemently opposes adoption, claiming on its website, and here's the quote from their website, "The psychological responses to abortion are far less serious than those experienced by women bringing their unwanted pregnancy to term and relinquishing the child for adoption." Now, here's what I can't believe. 40 years of abortion can't even give adoption the same moral equivalency as abortion. Planned Parenthood promotes adoption as even far worse than abortion. That's what 40 years has done. And when you look at the numbers, Planned Parenthood aborts 400 children for every one adoption referral. Planned Parenthood wages a war on adoption every day, aborting this number every day and crushing beautiful possibility 1,000 times a day inside their clinics. But every day we have an opportunity not only to unleash purpose in a child waiting to be loved, but to help foster an environment that embraces life. Notice, though, that I didn't say an unwanted child, but a child waiting to be loved. And this is what I hope to do the rest of the days of my life, is to shatter this myth of the unwanted child. We're all wanted by somebody. Amen. I was one of those children back in 1971. I know some of you thought I was born in 1985, but it's a lie. The late Steve Jobs. Anybody have an iPhone, an iPad? Wave them in the air. Can you imagine the world without our iPhones, our iPads, our Macs? And as a designer, I just can't imagine a world without a Mac, because a PC would have driven me crazy. Or iTunes. Steve Jobs changed the world, and adoption changed his. In fact, you can check out an article I wrote about that on Life News, and it was amazing because it was, I think, the most shared article in Life News, 57.5 thousand times on Facebook, because you get to see the tangible result of embracing life. So in fact, in his autobiography, in Steve Jobs' autobiography, he sought out his birth mom later in life to make sure she was okay, and to tell her, quote, he was glad he didn't end up as an abortion. Well, Steve Jobs, we are too, because this is what results. His birth mom turned the unplanned into a loving plan, and my birth mom, despite a traumatic pregnancy, did the same. Adoption is an act of love, it's an act of mercy, it's an act of justice, and of infinite possibilities. Adoption transforms not only the life of the child, but of families, of communities, and in some cases, the world. Now, I just want to reveal in the last minute here exactly why I'm so biased.
I know I was meant to be. This life was meant for me.
It's cute.
You went through so much pain. Oh, your tears, they were not in vain. Although you could not see what God had planned for me. God meant for me to be.